did.
Okay, we'll call our Finance Committee meeting, Budget and Finance Committee meeting to order. Privilege of the committee chair, members of the legislature, anyone need to discuss anything? We have two add-on resolutions. The one you received is operating budget, amending the operating budget. The second one you received was the resolution confirming the appointment of the Public Works, Commissioner of Public Works, which you all have a copy. There's been an appointment made by the executive. We'll start with our first resolution. Resolution authorizing the county treasurer to disperse mortgage tax money. Needs a sponsor in a second. Martin, Barb, discussion? Move it to the full legislature.
Aye.
Second resolution is a resolution authorizing the county treasurer, oh wait a minute. Bond resolution of the county of Montgomery, New York, dated October 25th, 16, authorizing the implementation of the clarifier rehab project and leachate acceptance project for the Montgomery County Sanitary District Number 1, estimating the aggregate cost thereof to be $310,000, appropriating said amount thereof, and authorizing the issuance of $320,000 in serial bonds of the county to finance said cost and related expenses. Martin, you sponsored, I'll second. Discussion?
Question, Mr. Chair. Were any grant funds eyed for this, or low interest financing through EFC?
There has been, I don't know, Martin, you want to chime in? I see you getting ready. We have an ad valorem tax at the sewer district that's ready to expire. And if that expires, this happened once before, all of a sudden there needs to be work done 2 years from now. And now the ad valorem tax has been lifted. So we want to make sure that we continue it on, and that's what this is for. And it doesn't, is it the same amount of what the ad valorem is currently, which is $320,000 over that time. It's my understanding that through our committee, Matt, that you had with Ken Rose, the Capital Projects Committee, thank you. It's been looked at, rolled over, and everything that possibly could be looked for has been, according to Ken.
Yeah, I mean, I'd just say I'm not incredibly familiar with this project, but I do remember talking about it in the capital project. But
we've also had the discussion about what happens if the grant comes along after we do this. It could always be paid off.
The only reason I ask is I know there's a lot of funding opportunities out there for projects like this. Fultonville, Fond of Fultonville replaced one of their clarifiers in the last couple of years at no cost, and we've got an application in to do the other one now. And worst comes to worst, you have financing through EFC. But if it's solely going back to the district, my only concern was that it just adds another $320,000 onto our amount of debt, and increases that.
But the ad valorem takes care of it. Is what's paying for it. McDonald Engineering, Doug, is the one who's been the driving force to go out and look for the money. To date, we don't have it.
If it's not time sensitive, is there any way we can hold this off to get more information? I mean, I hear what you're saying, but I agree with Ryan as well.
The ad valorem expires this year, so
Okay.
it is time sensitive.
All right.
And according to Sean, we needed to have the resolution up to create the bond resolution, or
And if, all right. So it is time sensitive, I understand.
if you, put the resolution through tonight, have Sean come in and talk more in depth about it. He's the one who's...
And if the grant comes in, it can be applied for this.
Or a portion
Or
thereof.
portion thereof, okay.
Or it could continue the capital projects for the aging infrastructure that's happening at the sewer district level. Especially with the flooding in 13, 11, 06. So, it's...
Just want to remind you that if let's say you don't do this. Right now, because this is going to be an ad valorem tax to the district users only,
I understand.
if for some reason we didn't pass this and there is no ad valorem, if something happens and work needs to be done there, it's going to be, to Duke's point a while back, the entire county that's going to end up paying for it.
Right.
If it's something needed to be done right now, because they'd have to go out and bond or...
I'll support it. I'll reach out to Sean. So I think the right questions were asked. Thank you.
Just a question on this, not necessarily this project, but we talked last year about divesting the county from the sewer district. And I don't think we've continued that discussion, and I'd like to pick that up at some point.
We did kind of continue it because Megan looked into and researched what would have to be done to do that, because it was an entity that was created by the county through local law, thank you, years ago. So there's quite a bit entailed with it, and in the meantime, we've been trying to set up a meeting, it just hasn't worked for everyone, with the county with the current board of directors up there at the sewer district to talk about what we can do to have this come in under a county department more so than, or divest itself from it. But Megan probably has more info on that than I do.
There's great grants for that as well.
Yeah, we should just pass this tonight and look into it further, but I think what Ryan's referring to is the state revolving loan fund, it's kind of changed. It used to be, you were put on a kind of a waiting list, and it would take a while to get these things funded, but I think they put some things in place to move that along more quickly. But we can be sure the engineer already looked at that. But let's pass this on to the full board, and then we'll look into it further.
Everybody good with that? Okay? Very good. Next resolution is a resolution establishing position of fiscal technician and eliminating account position and amending the 2016 operating budget. County treasurer needs a sponsor in a second.
I'll sponsor.
Barb, second. I'll second.
Thank you.
Discussion?
For discussion, I think that the main reason why I support it is it opens it up for a greater pool. We want a better, wider range of applicants for the county. So that's definitely my main reason.
And the money being transferred out from the current accounting position is the same money that's being,
Apples to apples. Even.
no fiscal impact, salary, new position would be the same grade and amount as the current title.
And neither position, just to double check, is paid back by the state, so we aren't losing anything by changing this position. By changing this position, we're not losing any payback from the state.
Question procedurally, and I know we've discussed this before, but I wanted to, since this will need to be changed in the 2017 operating budget once it takes effect, can that be done in the 2016 fiscal year, or does it have to wait until January 1st in order to do that?
This is something the treasurer and I have been going back and forth on, and to be continued.
If not, as long as we're keeping a list of things we need to change.
Yeah,
Well,
it
you
is.
need-
It is noted.
Yeah, you need to change it. Pleasure of the committee.
Move it.
Move it. Martin. Sorry, Martin, go ahead. Retract my question.
So that's the remaining amount that's in the line right now?
7250.
That's the remaining amount, because it's a $39,000 position. So it's just, so going forward, it's going to be a technician.
The name.
I don't know if he was taking much out.
Okay. Anything else? Move it to the full legislature? Everybody? All right, next resolution is Resolution accepting bids for the 2016 online tax foreclosure auction. Needs a sponsor in a second. Barb? Bob? Discussion?
Do we have any records on that? Where is that?
So Sean said, and it's in the first line of the resolution, that tomorrow is when the auction closes. So you'll be having to do an amendment. Once I get the information tomorrow, I'll send it to you, but there'll need to be an amendment for next Tuesday.
We'll just have to remind the chair that we got to put the amendment in for that. All right, anything else? Move it to the full legislature? Okay. Resolution amending 2016 operating budget, New York State Department of Health 1516 Local Health Department Performance Incentive Award Public Health. Sponsor in a second. Bob. Sponsors, Barb second. Discussion? Hearing none, move it to the full legislature. Okay. Last resolution we have listed is a resolution approving abstract of audited claims, county legislature. Needs a sponsor in a second. Barb, Joe. Discussion? Move it to the full legislature. First add-on resolution we have is a resolution amending the 2016 operating budget of the county legislature. Needs a sponsor in a second. Barb, second. I'll second. I am not too familiar with
We
this.
had an additional insurance premium invoice come in for the new public safety building, which is the $103 that part of the money being transferred to, and the other are for invoices for legal expenses incurred for, what am I looking for, Megan?
And claims that are
Claims.
under our insurance policy that go towards our deductible. So all these expenses go towards our insurance deductible, but we need more money in the line right now, according to the clerk.
And the treasurer.
And the treasurer.
Any other questions? Move it to the full legislature. Okay. Last resolution we have is a resolution confirming the appointment of the Commissioner of Public Works made by the county executive. Sponsor is Terry. I seconded. Discussion. Matt has appointed acting Public Works Commissioner to be Paul Claiborne until December 31st. And then as of January 1st, the resolution would appoint Eric Mead. It's our responsibility to confirm or deny the confirmation. I'll let Matt go in a second, but I would suggest, and this is totally up to you folks, if you think you need it. I've checked with Mr. Mead already. He could be here at 6:15 next week if you would like to have a hearing to discuss anything that you want to discuss with him prior to that meeting. Matt has offered up in his memo to us that if anybody wants to do that on their own, they can before then. I just would really like to know tonight if you think you would want to have that meeting. He can make it at 6:15. I could call a personnel committee meeting in which everybody obviously is invited to, and everyone would be allowed to, ask any questions, and then we could take it from there. Or if you don't want to, let me know that. Go ahead, Mark.
I'll ask you.
I think it'd be prudent that we come in and let's talk.
Matt, you had written a memo to us asking, basically your appointment is going to be Paul and then Eric January 1. Do you want to go over anything that you wrote in your memo, or?
Sure, I think the memo, speaks for itself. I feel very, strongly and optimistic about this appointment. We've been planning this for a long time, and I think it's, helps us not let 30 years of experience just walk out the door, but at the same time bring in some fresh person. The memo outlines some of the experience, and I would say that great. We can have a meeting anytime you'd like. If you want to do it at 6:15, that's fine. Some of you might feel more comfortable to have a more personal meeting, one-on-one. Any of that, we'd be more than welcome. Really, that's about it. I actually instructed Eric that the appointment was made today. I don't feel that you need to come tonight because we'll see how how it goes tonight, and then I fully expected that we would be coming back together for the meeting next week. So, but it was important that it went through the committee process. So, as far as the experience and character of the person, I think it's a fine selection, and I look forward to having that discussion with you as to any of your questions or concerns.
I think Paul had, in my conversations with the current commissioner, he had indicated to me that I think he's a year and a half or something before he's considering his retirement, and I think that he was a little bit looking out for the county and saying, I don't know that I want to take a 5-year appointment and then you got all of a sudden go look for somebody. I'd rather do it this way. It gives the county, and it puts him in a better position. And he's.
And I just add to that. I'm sorry, I'm going to go first. I can't speak highly of how what a team player Paul has been through this process. I think he understands that he wants to, pass along the things he's learned over the last 30 years to the new commissioner. And it's not a situation where we have, any friction or problems between the two. I think they're very much looking forward to working together until Paul's retirement. And Paul, some people have interest, like Phyllis Haig, who I just celebrated her birthday, and she's here. She's 9 years old, and she's still here. Some people like to stay around, some people don't. And I fully expect that with Paul's retirement, it will be going.
I saw Martin and Barb, or Joe, and then Barb, and then Ryan. So Martin, why don't you lead it off?
Okay. Well, I look forward to going through the interview process with Eric for the position. I just had a question on, so we're appointing Paul as the interim. Well, we're not really appointing because we are.
His term expired September
Paul's term
24th.
expired. So this resolution, and we went over this, we've changed this about 27 times with Megan and I. But this one resolution will accomplish the two things: appointing him acting, but also confirming the appointment for January 1.
When we discussed it, I said this is the cleanest way to. You're not coming back with another resolution another time.
I just have one. Some of us aren't going to be here January 1. Are we able to?
Yes.
Joe.
Was that money, I think that money's in the budget.
The resolution is no fiscal impact. It's an up or down on the calculation.
Yeah, when we have a hearing for any confirmation, that's basically what our job is as a legislature. If we decide to have a hearing to talk about that, it doesn't really roll into the monies or it's an up or, I think you just said it clearly, it's an up or down. Barb and then Ryan.
Okay. We all just received this from Matt, and I haven't spoken to Eric at all. My objection to this is the position that Paul's, the interim commissioner, the pay for that is so much more than what the commissioner will be making. As the purse, that's where my issue is arised.
Hold on just a second. Say that again.
The position, the non-bargaining position that was created for the interim commissioner after January 1st in the budget.
No, there's no interim commissioner after the first.
There's an interim commissioner now.
From the
Acting.
Acting.
There is a county, maybe it won't be that same person. Maybe it will be that position will go to somebody else.
That'll be gone. The acting, just so we're on the same page, from
Yeah.
October, from now, next week through January 1, that acting position will be the same position that's there now, same salary. Come January 1, the acting position would be gone. Eric Mead would come into the regular position. What you're, I think, saying is the new position that Paul will hold.
That's where I'm going.
Right, what's the name of that position?
County highway, well, it really should be open to anyone who's applying for it, but Paul brings a lot of knowledge, a lot of experience. He knows the whole county roadway. And I think that is a huge asset to the county. I think that this should all be discussed in the boardroom with all of us instead of wherever it's discussed. So I look forward to meeting Eric and discussing it at the...
Yeah, the only thing that I want to make sure we're clear on, our confirmation hearing that we're going to conduct in the Personnel Committee with all of us here is to ask Eric questions about the job, whatever we want to ask him. None of that stuff, though.
No, it's
Because
just for him.
That's right.
As him being
Because
the
he has no
commissioner
say in any of that stuff.
Exactly. If I have any reservations, it will be for my vote. But me meeting him, I will be very glad, because him being the Commissioner of Public Works, January 1st, that is the only reason why I would love to have the ability to meet him. Yes.
You know, I think from what's been indicated and said that, you know, we're going to have this transition process between now and January 1st and potentially after that. And I think, you know, in public service, a lot of times there isn't succession planning in, you know, in these types of positions. So, you know, looking at the next couple months, as much as Eric and Paul can coordinate so that Eric can hit the ground running on January 1st, no matter what, I think that's a really great plan. But I'm just a little confused by, you know, some of the statements that have been made in terms of another position that was established in the budget and at this point has nothing to do with the legislature. It's a personnel matter which is handled by the executive and whoever the appointing authority is. So I'd just like to, you know, going into next week, I think if we can stay to topics that relate to this appointment and not budget, which we've already passed, you know, I just, you know, request that we stick to that.
Yeah, that's what I was going, and for the presence of Eric being here, it's for us to have a hearing to confirm him and anything else that we want to ask him, but did you have your hand up again?
Well, I'll clarify. We don't know the names of anyone. We do know what salaries are. So if a salary is moved to a made-up, non-bargaining position, that's why I'm aware of what the salaries are for each additional person. So that's why I did not want to use a name. I hope that position would go out to any person applying for January 1st. And it's not given to just any person. So, thank you.
So, is it the wishes, do you want to have the Personnel Committee meeting, confirmation hearing next week?
Yes.
Is that what you want to do?
Yep.
So we can do 6:15, and he's confirmed with me. I messaged, and he said that he was okay for 6:15. That gives us 40 minutes prior to the public hearing scheduled for 6:55.
Now, Legislator Patel had asked for a copy of his resume. Matt, would you be able to get any information to me that I could send to the legislators?
Yes.
Any credentials that he can give prior to would be good, so that we have a chance to digest it prior to meeting with him.
Yeah, and really, I hit most of his highlights here in the memo. You know, I think you could expand into greater detail there, and then I could include maybe a copy of the application and you know, designated qualifications.
But anything he wants to give us, personally, anything he would like, I think that's what Bob's asking for, right, Bob?
Yeah,
Any type of, I don't know if the resume is the right word or whatever, any credentials he wants to.
Resume or VT.
Yeah. All right, so on the resolution to move to the full legislature, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right?
Aye.
So we have nothing else to come, to my knowledge, before the Budget and Finance Committee. So I look for a motion to adjourn.
You got it.
Second.
Barb, second Terry. We are adjourned. Thank you very much.